Regular council meeting for August the 20th underway. We had an executive session prior to this, so we were 2 minutes late. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. Sir, if you could do the Pledge of Allegiance for us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As the meeting goes on, we have the council president, Rick Brennan. He's on vacation. He'll be on the phone. So,
Is Melissa not coming?
Well, she was just here.
She's here.
There she is.
Everybody's asking for you.
We ran out of agendas. Come here.
Melissa, you ready?
Sure.
Okay. If you could do the roll call, please.
Mayor Goff.
Here.
President Brennan.
Here.
Vice President Ondo.
Here.
Councilwoman Fry. Here. Councilman Youngkins.
Here.
Councilman Shields.
Here.
Councilman Vodadian.
Yeah.
Councilman E.
Present.
Chief Fuller.
Here.
Chief Coles.
Here.
Interim Borough Manager Mr. Little.
Here.
Solicitor Ivaskovic.
Here.
Engineer Elias.
Here.
Public Works Director Mr. Bicey.
Here.
Code Enforcement Officer Mr. Cannon.
Here.
You're all here?
All present, accounted for.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we can start off with the reports. If we could get the president's report.
Okay, I believe that you need to announce that council had an executive session on July 23rd, 2024 to interview potential borough managers. And also council had an executive session August 20th, 24 at 6:30. That was earlier tonight, and that was held for licensing agreements with Turtle Creek Mental Health and personal matters. Okay, so I'm gonna read you my report. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, thank you all. Good evening to all. Currently, we have several major expenditures we do have to deal with. Number one is Creek Street, which with an estimated value of around $500,000. Two, we have parking for the Turtle Creek Valley Authority, which is estimated between $500,000 and $400,000. We're not exactly sure the cost. We also have three is a budget for 2025. We have to start planning for our budget for next year. It would be foolish for us to expend money without knowing all the facts and estimates on all three matters. So number one, Creek Street. On this project, can this project be done in stages? Can we afford to do this project? Are we applying for grants from the state for help from this project? These are items that we're going to discuss as well that are through the agenda. Number two, we are obligated by our past council to pay for the Turtle Creek Valley parking lot. Approximately, I'm just going to say $500,000. So there's roughly $1 million right there. Number three, budget concerns for 2025. How much will it cost us next year, and what will it mean to our taxpayers? Mainly policing staff. Regarding new hires, we've hired 2 officers general fund. So, I've spoken directly with the mayor and Chief Bullard regarding SRO officers, which has come to the forefront for Park School and the high school. Currently, we have a full-time officer in the high school and middle school, and we have coverage for Park School of 2 to 3 days a week with patrol cars patrolling the school when there's not an officer in the school. And let me make this clear. I have not and never have been opposed to staffing SRO officers in our schools. So, I spoke with the mayor and the chief, and I ran a couple things past him, and this is all for discussion later in this meeting. I just want to make sure that people know what I've talked to and been working with. So if we hire a part-time police officer, he could fill in on the schedule as needed, and we could staff a full-time police officer in Park School, an existing police officer. Number two, we could hire a new police officer full-time, and probably that would put constraints on our 2025, what's it called?
Budget.
Budget, yeah, thank you. I was a loss for words there. And who knows what that would mean, but I believe the cost of one officer is roughly around $130,000, $140,000 with benefits, pensions, and health care and all that. So that is a constraint. We could request West Homestead support the schools and fill the 2 to 3 day coverage as needed, as West Homestead does not have a police officer in neither the high school or Park School. And for that matter, all of the schools, when the schools merge, we don't know what the plan is going to be. Are they going to require 1 police officer for the school? Are they going to want 3 officers for the school? So that's yet to come up to council and the school district. So there's a lot to be talked about there. So I want to bring these up for discussion, as we did not have a workshop session, and these are some of the main issues that need to be spoken about. There are some other issues that are on the agenda to speak, and apparently the Creek Street bid process was put on the agenda to vote tonight, and I'm not sure that process. So when that comes up, I question how we're going to pay for that, and I question, is that going to be done through a process of a grant and then we award the bid, or I have questions on all that, so which I spoke a little bit about earlier. So that's my president's report, and certainly I'm looking forward into public comments when we can speak further into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mayor Falls, if we could get the mayor's report?
Sure. First, the good stuff. Munhall Market Nights is this Friday. It's the last one. It's our Maroon and Gold Nights. Looking forward to having everybody there. I know the Cares groups are here tonight, and they also represent from the Free Store and Cares group. They're really one group, and they are interested in coming into the old Borough Building. I got a call today, Katie would like to come in and look at it, and I said, well, after the meeting, maybe we could set something up where they can look at it. We all can come in and look at it. And so that's something that I would like to see happen. I mean, I do want to see it's a great group, and actually I'd like to, I don't want to recognize them tonight, but I will recognize them tonight. But they've been doing a hell of a job, the Munhall Cares group. With these market nights, a lot of hard work goes into this, and I really appreciate all they've done.
And I would like to have a meeting maybe next month where we recognize them at one of our public meetings, you know. They're doing a great job. And a lot of times I get problems, and I really don't know how to answer this one all the time. You see a lot of things that, if anyone looks at my site, problems with feral cats. How do we handle feral cats? I did meet last week with this group in West Mifflin, Feral Kitties, I think they're called, and they would like to help out with some of our feral cat problems, but of course there's an expense to that. They would like to have some kind of a clinic even where they would come up and get them neutered and, you know, or spaded. And I don't know if there's anything, I see Dan is here tonight, I don't know if there's anything for clinics like that we can go look at money after, Dan.
I don't know.
Because I think it's just not in Munhall, there's a big problem with cats, feral cats, I think, all over.
No, I had it in my community too.
Pleasant Hills,
Yeah, we had,
whoever, Homestead.
because someone was leaving food out for cats, and
Yeah.
here came 40 of them all of a sudden, because they started coming.
But this group would like to do some type of a clinic where they could, you know, set something up and trap some of these cats who need some help in relocating them and getting them adopted too. Right now, it's up, I think, to the individuals to get the cat and trap them and bring them to someone like the Feral Kitties. You know, I mean, I'm an animal activist. I'm not against hurting any animals, cat, dog, or whatever. You know, I mean, someone made a crazy comment on my site that they have a gun, so they're gonna shoot the cat. So just, you'd say that was a suggestion for the cure, but that's totally against anything like that. But that's a good comment I see often. It's something to think about. You know, I don't know what there is, or there could be a budget to help this group, who's basically a volunteer group too, that, you know, goes out and takes care of these cats and brings them in and tries to get them neutered or spaded and rehomed them. So it's kind of a little interest of mine to get involved, do something like that. Other than that, that's really all I have. I think we got a big agenda here, so I'll stop at that.
Thank you, Mayor. Solicitors report?
Thank you, Vice President Ondo. Just a couple quick items. These pertain to agenda items. I did draft the new Borough Manager agreement with David Ty, which he has approved, and it's on the agenda for council to approve the start date of August 27th. The terms are agreeable. He will be started at an annual salary of $83,000 per year. So that's in place for final approval tonight. And another agenda item, E, about the parking license agreement. I worked with the attorney for Turtle Creek Valley, and we legally approved the agreement, which has now been approved by council and will be ratified tonight, to provide temporary parking for them during the construction of the upper parking lot, which we are obligated to construct, and that is moving forward. That's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Oh, before we go further, there's a lot of new faces out there. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you. Okay, engineers report.
Thank you, Vice President. Creek Street bids were opened on August 5th. We received 5 bids, and the low being $497,473. As President Brennan stated, that was J.S. Paris Excavating. You'll find in your packet that I've suggested recommending awarding them the bid, pending on funding. Talking to Dan, he's submitted for the GEDTF grant, which would help pay for that total cost. Dan, when's that get awarded?
So they are hoping, and again, you know, hoping when grants are going to be awarded is a tough thing, but they're currently hoping by end of year they're going to award that grant. Currently, that's what they're estimating, but I think that's why they're kind of pushing it now with only a 2-week window for it being open, is they're hoping by December to award.
So I would recommend awarding pending we get some funding from GEDTF, and I think we're also going after the dirt and gravel grant for that as well. So that kind of answers your question on how we get funding for that.
Matt, how much funding do you think we can get for it?
If we get the total GEDTF, that's 500,000.
Okay, awesome.
If we get the dirt and gravel, since it's the first application, we could get up to 200,000.
How long has the bid to remain open? Still work 60 days?
I think it's 60 days, so we'd have to confer with the contractor to see if he'd hold his price.
Yeah, if we want to hold the contractor until we confirm we're getting the funding, we'd have to ask him to keep it open longer, because I don't, we probably won't have an answer about the grant in 60 days.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely, no.
so we'd have to ask them to extend that bid.
Yeah, and both grants are due at the end of August, and both are actually saying they usually award by end of year. The dirt gravel low volume road program is administered by the county conservation district. It's a bit more predictable for them and they say we usually award by end of year. Contracts usually go out in the first month of the year. But we did meet with the conservation district. We still have to have them out for a site tour of Creek Street. But they said what the landslide, that is like kind of you can say ideal, but that is what they're looking to fund with that project. Is a, dirt road that isn't really gonna be eligible for other funding. The fact that there's environmental concerns if it does slide, because it's gonna go into Homestead Run, they said that's also a big priority for them, so.
Cool.
Secondly, paving project for this year, it's underway. El Grande's been in the process over the last week or two, milling and paving throughout the borough. Thirdly, I think I sent you the emails earlier this month. Ravine Street traffic study came back. We did meet the criteria for traffic calming through PennDOT, and they recommended a total of 5 speed humps along Ravine Street. That we still need to look for funding for. They said if you don't do it without paving the road, it's $7,500 per hump. If you did it as a part of a paving project, it would be $35 per hump. And also, 3 out of the 5 are in Munhall Borough, on borough roads, and 2 of them are on the county portion of Ravine Street. So we'd have to also get approval from the county or get funding from them to do their 2. Lastly, demos. Margaret Street is completed. Martha Street is still pending review of Allegheny County. I've reached out to DJ Demo to see where he stands with that. That's all I have. If you have any questions.
Matt, for the speed humps, you said, are we able to put the portable ones,
You can. It was an option. They're a little more pricey, plus you take them in. So it becomes a maintenance issue. But it's completely up to you. We can discuss that.
so how difficult would it be for the snow plows if we put in speed humps, like asphalt?
The speed humps aren't as rigid as the portable ones. I think it wouldn't be that much of an issue. But just gotta watch your speed when you go over it with the plow.
Thank you.
No pun intended.
Matt, where do we stand on Hilltop? What has been done, or is it, when do you anticipate the paving to begin?
That I don't know. I have to check in with them tomorrow and see. I thought they were gonna start doing it this week, and I haven't gotten any word that they've done anything this week yet.
It's pretty middle.
Yeah, it's been middle.
I think there's time to
They put base down. That was about it.
Yeah, this would be a great one to do, because with rain and the weather is cool.
Yep.
Please get in touch with me.
I will.
Any other questions for the engineer? Code enforcement report, David?
You have a copy of my report. Building permits issued 13, occupancy inspections 22, lien letters sent 18, code enforcement letters 51, and court hearings. I had 77 court hearings. 22 people were found guilty for a fine of $17,700. That concludes my report.
So out of those fines, David, how much do we get?
Well, that's what we're eligible
That's
for.
what we're gonna get?
$17,700. We're not guaranteed that money.
Oh.
Those are people who didn't show up or didn't show up for a court hearing. Yeah.
Any questions for the code enforcer?
Dave, what's your,
I don't know.
the alleyways? I've seen like every single day on, community page, issues with the alleyways, brush, trees, garbage, trash. Are you enforcing that? What's going on? Because every day there's a new complaint out there.
Anytime I get a complaint, I go up to the area and I mail letters to the homeowners about trash cans being in the alley too early, not having lids on it, stuff like that, leaving them out in the yard.
Dave, was the permit for the demo house the one on Margaret Street?
I'm sorry, yes, what?
Was the permit for the demo house, was that the one on Margaret
Yes.
Street?
And if, I guess, as long as we have the engineer's approval, we could probably pay Mr. Minifield. I
Yeah.
got all my,
If we get an invoice.
okay.
Did we condemn that house on Andrew Street yet? That we had the fire escrow money from? What's our plan with that? We're a couple
Don't-
years out.
It's still being reviewed, I don't know if,
What's being reviewed on?
to see if we have the house, the money for the house in it.
Do we have that money
From the fire escrow fund?
for the Andrew Street house that come from?
To Martha Street or Andrew Street?
Andrew Street.
I
16.
thought you were talking about Martha Street.
That 16.
1,600, I think that was one of the houses that might have been, had money for.
1,600.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that we received insurance money for.
1,600 to what, board it up or tear it down?
Well, it was caught on fire 2 years ago, I'd say, 2-3 years ago. But we got I'm pretty sure we got insurance money for that.
Oh, okay, I'd have to look at the fire escrow binder. I thought you were talking about the house on Martha Street.
Yeah, I thought you had said that when they were talking about the Margaret Street house, that there was money in there and the Andrew Street property.
Yeah, there may have been. Let me
was
look at
on
that,
that.
Tim. I'll take a look at that.
Because I'd like to get moving forward with that, if we can get it condemned and go that route.
We may have a
So
plat,
I do have a question for Dave. Dave,
yeah,
so, you had printed out 77 properties, and council, I believe, has the list of the properties that are, vacant or abandoned, is that correct?
that's correct, yes.
What's that, Dave?
Yes, that's correct.
So, are any of these other properties, in such condition that they need to be torn down, or do we need to have our general fund pay for it? Or should we be doing applications to get them demoed in the county?
What additional houses are you talking about?
I'm asking you what additional houses need to be, that are in deplorable condition, that are falling in and going to damage the neighbor's house. There are 77 properties you have listed. Are there any that are in deplorable condition and that we need to be aware of and that need to be taken down immediately?
I would say there might be 2 to 3 more.
Okay, could you give a list to council so we know what they are as well?
Yes. I don't have the addresses right now, but I will give that to council, yes.
Okay? And have we missed application for them to be torn down with grants through the, I forget the granting body that does that.
Act 152 is currently open, Rick. So we need to get the list and get it going.
It just opened.
So did I hear our grant writer is there as well?
Yes.
Yeah, Dan's here.
So Dan, could you get the list from him and apply for these 3 properties to get them done, demolished?
We can apply. I will say, I think in the past, you've all gone through the COG with your Act 152 grants, and most municipalities do.
Yeah.
They go through their COGS.
We've always gone through the call.
Yeah, so.
Is our cog doing that now?
Yes,
Yeah, she sent out the notice before the county did that it was opening.
yes, Rick.
So yes, they are. I can work with them, and the county did announce they're combining Act 152 and the Community Development Block Grants demolition side, I think, into one application this year. So if you do have a list, we can try to get something together.
Is currently asking for these 3 properties to be demolished through our grant, through our cog. Is that right, Dave?
I don't know which ones were applied for. The 3 that I just mentioned,
It just opened.
I know last year we applied for 7, we got 2, I think. So I don't know if she's gonna just redo those 5, plus I'll give her a list of, 3 or 4 more.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't, then shame on us, because then we'll have residents coming in and asking us why we didn't apply for them to be demolished.
I know the houses that we did last year, or the year before, was mostly on Cole Road, because there's like 4 or 5 houses that are up there, and there's no streets to even get to those houses. There should be never, any use for those houses, and they're always in bad condition up there.
What about the other 2 on Martha Street?
The other 2 on Martha Street, yes.
If they're coming down, why don't we put that on the list? There's 1 coming down, there's 2 going over the hill. Why don't we eliminate that problem while we can?
Right.
These houses you got marked on here, they're all fixable, ain't they?
To me, yes. I think every house is fixable. There's a lot of investors in the area. There's actually one here, he's done 30 to 50 the past 10 years that were in pretty bad shape. Every house is fixable, in my eyes.
Can he have a copy of this list?
Mhm.
Does he have one?
I'm not sure. Well,
I get one. This is Jesse Wiggins,
I mean, and there's-
investor in the
And there's
community.
There's 3 or 5 other Jesse Wings out there now. They're not afraid of, they're not afraid of,
Well, there's
tackle
other
a
ones
project.
besides Jesse. Jesse decided to be here tonight.
yeah.
So Dave, I have another thing I'd like to talk to you about.
Good.
So, on our agenda, there is the homestead tax abatement program they have. I would like you to explain that to council. I understand what it is, and basically I believe it's similar to an alerta plan. And would you go over that ins and outs with council so that they're aware of what's actually going on there?
What it is an application whenever there's an investor that wants to purchase property that needs to be worked on. What they're doing is allowing them a year to work on the property without being taxed. After it's fixed and corrected, then it's reassessed, and then the tax start up again. That's the Reader's Digest version of it. So they give the investor time to work on the house without being taxed on it, and then after they're finished, they start the taxes back up.
And they get rid of all the back taxes that are on the property also too, though.
I was not told that.
No.
No?
I don't know how the homestead program works, sorry, I'm interrupting, Rick, Greg.
Go ahead.
I looked at this because it was sent to me, I'm not sure what statutory authority they're working under to provide this program. I'm very familiar with LERTAs, I've written ordinances for LERTAs, which is a temporary tax exemption for development of blighted property. It could be residential, it could be commercial, it could be both. It has to be done by ordinance. There's a statute that outlines this. Works best if the school gets on board and passes a resolution similar to our ordinance and the county approves it. And then a developer will get a tax break from all 3 taxing bodies. Usually works in a schedule of either 5 years or 10 years. Sliding scale, your first year is 100% abatement, and the tax abatement is only on the improvement, which is similar to what Homestead has. So if you acquire a parcel and it's worth $100,000 and you make a $200,000 improvement, the county comes out and reassesses it, you get your abatement on the improvement. not the original cost of the real estate. And there's usually a sliding scale, say if it's 5 years, it would be 100, 80%, 60, 40, 20, and then fully taxable. So it's something that will be discussed by council. I think you need to do it by ordinance, and you want to get the school on board as well, which makes it more attractive because their taxes are much higher than ours. That's my take on this. They don't cite any statute, so I'm not sure what their authorization is for implementing this program. I have to ask, but that's my knowledge of these temporary tax abatement programs is provided by state statute known as ALERTA, which you mentioned, so you're familiar with that.
So Greg, do we have ALERTA zone in Munhall today? Do you know?
I looked at our, today, knowing this was coming up, I went on the Borough website, looked at the E360 code. I couldn't find ALERTA. I don't know. Do we have one, Dave? I couldn't find one, so Dave's indicating no, so we do not have one.
Okay, so we would have to generate an ordinance stating that we were gonna set up ALERTA zones throughout the borough.
Yeah, you have to decide, is it just residential or residential and commercial, and where it's going to be. It has to be a blighted area. There are a lot of factors that go into it to comply with the statute, and there are actually multiple statutes that you can provide this tax relief. If you want, I could give you a memo that gives you the options, what the choices are, and what these statutes allow the borough to do. I think that's probably the best starting point, is just a summary of what our options are.
Agreed. Would you send that to Dave, and then Dave can filter that out to council who would like to read it?
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Are there any other questions for code enforcement? All right, let's move on. Public Works Supervisor Bob?
Yeah, like the engineer said, the paving project has started. I'm just trying to keep up with them. Whenever they have a problem, they're calling me. They hit a line today, a storm line, when they were milling. It was 4 inches deep. So we got to go up there and bring a contractor in and fix it. There was actually a catch basin there that we just never knew was there. So.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a few other catch basins that they rip the tops and stuff off, and we took care of that. But once they're done milling, we should be all right with that kind of stuff. That's all I have.
Any questions for Bob?
I have one. Do you think we could free up a couple employees come after Veterans Day to help bring the banners down? That has become such a success. There's over 1,700 banners. And they have volunteers that, a lot of them are older, to help take those banners down. I mean, it's become a victim of its own success. That may become Veterans Day, we could free up a couple guys on Main Street to help take the banners down. That be possible?
Yes.
Okay.
No other questions for Public Works? Chief, Police Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Council has a copy of my report. For the month of July, the Police Department responded to 688 calls for service, made 33 arrests, made 148 traffic stops, and issued 106 traffic citations. Officers worked 91 hours of extra details for the month, 51 hours of regular overtime, and 87 hours of court time. Munhall Police Department participates in the aggressive driving program. I assigned 2 officers to work that detail. They made 30 traffic stops and issued 12 traffic citations over 16 hours. Training, Detective Trout went to a 3-day handgun optics instructor certification and also a handgun shotgun instructor certification class. Detective Trout and School Resource Officer Bomey went to a child line investigation course. We moved 4 out of the 5 of our radar signs. The new locations are Briley Lane, Cambria Street, Roberta Drive, and Gates Drive. The fifth one that we did not move, that's the one that's on Main Street in front of the entrance to the high school. And finally, one of the crossing guards who's been a crossing guard for over 40 years called us today and is retiring, so we're going to need to hire a new crossing guard. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Chief. Any
Questions
questions
on the crossing guard too? We can always take applications still. We still need subs. I think there's, you said, Chief, there's 2 applications out there now. I think you can call and see if they're interested still, then do the background check. If so, we can maybe put one on. So,
Did you say it was 40, he or she was 40 years?
Over 40
Maybe
years.
we could do something special, recognize that individual next meeting.
Okay.
I mean, that's 40 years. We can't keep them 40 weeks. Really?
You're right.
questions for the chief? Fire chief?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You have a copy of my report. The Bureau of Fire responded to 58 calls for the month of July. Our average times to these incidents from call to en route is 3 minutes and 55 seconds, and from time of call to the first unit arriving on scene is 5 minutes and 46 seconds. Between calls, training, and other details that we did for the month, we tallied a total of 1,331 man hours. An update from what I told you last month, number 4's engine is still at Keystone awaiting the parts. Those parts should be in sometime next month, and we should hopefully have their engine back by October. They are still currently using New Kensington's loader engine. Also, number 1 squirt will be going out within the next 2 weeks for that circuitry issue that we found during the ladder testing. It is over my budget, so it is unbudgeted amount, so I'm letting you know that it's going to be coming in soon, probably October, November, and it's just under 40 grand for that truck. The truck is 26 years old, even though it doesn't look it. So that's still its first major repair that we've ever had to do to that vehicle. So I'm working to see if I can get that split up into a couple payments to make it a little bit easier, but I wouldn't expect any of those invoices till maybe October, November anyway, but just wanted to give you a heads up that they're going to be coming in.
Did you receive your truck fund money for this year?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Mr. Little has a copy of.
Yeah, I have
and
a
I did
copy
send
of the request for that.
The president and vice president via email.
Okay.
And he usually comes July, August.
Yes,
So,
yeah, Tuesday time of year.
yeah, yeah, but that request is in, so.
So council's okay with that request, no problem.
That's a budgeted item.
I mean, that's a budget item, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just, okay.
That's all I have.
Any questions for the fire chief? Moving on, tax collector, Donna isn't here? No. Parks and Recs, Councilwoman Fry?
I'm happy to tell you, any of you who were here the last couple meetings, we had Boy Scouts who wanted to get our approval for doing their Eagle Scout Award. And I met with both of them and their families, and I just want to share with you because it's phenomenal what they are doing. I met with Michael Stickle and his mom. They're the ones doing the Ron Watkins Memorial Park up on Main Street by Caroline. He painted the curb, he power washed the bricks, he put brand new mulch in and conferred with Munhall Garden Club to get flowers. He put down new wood on the benches, which is composite decking that was donated by 84 Lumber. He trimmed the tree that was there and removed 3 of the bushes. He got a planter from Century 3 Mall, and he said that should we get the Main Street money, if anybody says they're going to get rid of that, so that he would like to have that back, so that he can put it elsewhere. He refinished the bronze plaque. They're working on that right now through Matthews International. He put a bird feeder in front of the tree on the right side, and the Met House he partnered with, and they're going to fill the bird feeder. He put deep gravel down, cleaned out the 5 grates, put new gravel down to prevent the weeds. He hired a mason to repair the cracks in the bricks. Three Rivers Stadium, if you go up there, you will see there's a brick that has 3R. That's the brick from the old Three Rivers Stadium. He just sent me a thing today saying the electric work was done. And he still wants to do these last few things. He wants to put a flag retirement box up there. He wants to remove the garbage can that's on the sidewalk because it's in pretty bad shape. Our Public Works told him to take it up. He wants to put new signs on it saying no skateboarding allowed. And he wants a small sign saying that that was his Eagle Sky project. And he's getting those signs through, if you go to the end of Innerborough, there's a sign company there called 3C Company. And if God willing, he wants to have a grand opening for anybody who's interested in it after Labor Day. He'll let us know. When I was up there, and the day that I was up there before he and his mom came down here, he was sweating gumballs. He worked hard for that project. And the second project that we were asked to approve was through Ryan Highland down at the Kennedy Park, which is in front of the library, for his Eagle Scout. We approved that he could do it. And then we heard that we were going to get grant money for the memorial. So we had great big discussion, and last month we said, let him get started. Don't touch the memorial, because that's what's in the grant. So he is going to clean up the entire park. He's going to cut the trees back. He's going to replace, there's 1 garbage can down there on 9th Avenue. He wants to put 4 garbage cans, 1 at each entrance. He's painting the frames on the benches and getting brand new wood that he's going to stain. He wants to paint the light posts that are existing down there. He wants to power wash the wall behind the memorial because it looks pretty bad. And there's parts of the railing that go up to when you're over to the right of the gazebo. Parts of that railing are missing. That's a handicap railing. And now we're supposed to make it, we're not sure, but he would like to do that. He wants to put new mulch in front of the memorial. He wants to put 4 signs, 1 at each entrance that say John F. Kennedy Park. And he promises he will not touch the memorial. So when we get the grant, and supposedly we have $12,600, the grant will pay $66,000. We're supposed to pay $66,000. Ryan hopes to be done with his project September 30th. They both. I hope we all realize what is involved when they're doing this. And they're going around and they're getting donations from the stores, and his dad told me that letters will be going out. They've already started to go out. So if you're interested in donating, please let one of us know. We'll get in touch with them, and then you'll get in touch with them. That's my report, Kevin.
What is your next Parks and Rec meeting, Rini?
We meet the first Monday of each month.
First Monday.
Yep, 6:30 upstairs. In September, because Monday's Labor Day.
So you're
we will
pushing
be
it back
meeting
to second?
Tuesday.
The meeting Tuesday.
Mhm.
That's the same day as the other meeting. right?
Blighted meeting.
The blighted meeting, right? You're still
Right.
gonna meet on that day, then?
We already had it on
Okay.
that tour date.
Yep, okay.
Any questions for Councilwoman Fry? No? Thank you. Mr. Youngkins, Munhall Sewer Authority?
I had all the minutes sent to all the council people, and we're doing our own, finding the sewer lids that are buried. manhole covers that are buried. The gentleman we hired is doing that. We're also in the process of looking for a helper for him, because we're going to start doing dye testing and everything else. And there's a lot of other big projects going on, but there's so many. If you want to read the minutes, you can go onto the Sewer Authority website, and they're on there also.
Any questions for Councilman Junkins? No. Managers report, sir.
I can't add anything to what's already been said, and it's on the agenda, other than personnel matters. The only personnel matter, I'll be working with the new manager, Mr. David Ty. I met him yesterday. He'll be starting next Tuesday, and I'll be working with him next Tuesday, and I have a meeting set up with Chief Fuller and Bob Bicey, myself, and John Sapinski to meet with him and to go over questions. I'm developing an agenda for that. And to see, you know, how long he needs me, which probably would, at the most, would be maybe a couple of days the following week, if that. Okay, and if council's okay with that, that's the schedule I'll keep. And I don't have anything else to add unless anybody has any questions for me.
You're gonna miss us. You're gonna miss
I
us.
thank you for all you did.
Thank you.
These
Thank you,
things are
sir.
last.
Thanks for your time, Tim. You give a big help to the borough once again.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Kevin,
Yes?
I have one more question I wanted to ask Bob Lacey.
Sure.
Bob, I know that they were working on the lights on Main Street, and I'm wondering how that project's gone. I know that the electrician was up there. I still see a couple holes in the ground, and I'm wondering if they ever did fix the lights on Troutman Street as well. Troutman Field, I mean.
Some of it at Troutman is fixed. Main Street is done. I just gotta fill the holes in. We've got the power at the monument, Main and Caroline. Way to dig up holes and run their lines.
Can you hear him?
I couldn't hear, but I heard most of the lights are all fixed, and Troutman
Yes.
field lights are good to go, so I believe that's what he said.
Yes.
Thanks, Bob.
The 7 lights on Main Street that were out are fixed.
Great.
That's great.
Thank you.
Okay. Approve the meeting minutes for July 2024. So July 9th, 2024, the workshop session was canceled because we did not have workshops in July and August. So on July 16th, we're gonna do the council meeting minutes. So I need a motion.
Motion.
I have a motion. I need a second.
Second.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. So the next thing is a registered presentation. Ms. Sharon Blazevich, if you would stand up, give your name and address.
Yeah, 213 North Lehigh Avenue, Munhall, Mississippi. Thank you for having me. My name is Sharon Blazevich, and I'm representing the residents of Jefferson, Tioga, Green.
Could you come?
Okay, West Lehigh and North Lehigh in Jefferson. Due to, we have been victims of vandalism with multiple break-ins with our cars. The car vandalism is one concern, but it's just a matter of time before a resident is assaulted. The vandalism happens between 3 and 5 in the morning. We've seen it on multiple ring doorbells. And the one time they had they happened in April, and these 3 gentlemen are walking through the alley between West Lehigh and Jefferson doing whatever, and that was the same night that many cars were broken into. And within 5 minutes, there was a gentleman from Green Street walking his dog. Now, what if they were confronting each other? Lord knows what would happen. I mean, it's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. And that's only the start of it. And on July 3rd, at approximately 3 a.m., there were 3 vehicles stolen, 2 on Jefferson and 1 on Lehigh. And you could see them on the ring doorbells again. The car on Lehigh was started, the lights are on, the engine's running, and they go through the alley, and the next thing you know, they must have dropped the people stealing 2 cars on Jefferson. They drove the cars on Jefferson, went down North Lehigh the wrong way. There were 4 cars. There were the 3 cars, the 2 cars from Jefferson, and the 1 from Lehigh, and then the one they originally arrived in. You can see it again on the doorbell camera. And then the 2 from Jefferson, one was found in McDonald's in Duquesne. The other one was found in Kentucky. Lord knows what they were doing down there. I mean, would it be drugs? And then the other one was wrecked in Beltsuber. It was total, needless to say. But I mean, this is ridiculous. And people are losing their sense of security. I mean, a few years ago, it wouldn't bother me to walk Main Street at 10 o'clock at night. I would really have second thoughts if I were doing it now. I mean, it's just insane. And they are false. People here consider Munhall as like the family. And you're the patriarch of this family. And you need to attend to all the needs. I mean, they look up to you for this. And this is on your watch. And she well know. I appreciate there's a lack of police and funding, but they need to do more patrols or somebody on West Rhine Road. I mean, how many cars go to work at 3 and 5 in the morning? I mean, who have several people in their car. I think you could detect, stop these cars. I know you need a valid reason, but it's like if you see something, say something. Or whatever, right.
We need the residents, to make calls.
Right.
When something happens, when they see something,
they
need to make a call. We will have an officer there. The chief, normally on detail on night term, we have 3.
2. I was told it's 2.
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
Right.
So we do need police. I mean, I'm gonna propose tonight that we do hire another additional officer.
At least.
But we have, but we have to stay within, some budget things too. I can't, have a police state here, because the next meeting, somebody will come up and say, well, you hired 4 new police and now my taxes are.
Well, that's beside.
But we wanna be safe though.
No, absolutely.
But if I can get more
and
police.
They're losing their sense of security. Here, it's not safe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people just don't feel comfortable, and the people out there, I don't want to say that they become vigilantes, but it's like, so-and-so, like texting each other in the middle of the night, people are buying guns. I mean, it's getting a little.
I want to make it as safe as possible, but in all honesty.
I don't want to hear it's happening in other places.
I know, you're addressing a problem that's a national problem. It's not, I know you don't want to hear that. And I'm more worried about Munhall than any other municipality.
Absolutely.
But it's a national problem now. Crime.
Well, we need to, remember, I don't know if you remember years ago when Chris Kelly was the chief of police in Hempstead?
I know Chris, yeah.
Yeah, well, remember when he started those DUI stops coming across the bridge because people were partying other places and coming across the bridge, and things were happening here. So we're getting a bad reputation because of all the people driving through Homestead and Munhall, and he was stopping them. And remember the time the person in Homestead was attacking the women? And it was ugly. These women were not young. And there was one man going around, and he asked people to voluntarily give DNA samples. So they did. Remember that?
I remember that.
Yes. And so then they got him. I mean, you have to take the bull by the horns. Don't be nice. Offend people. You need to offend people. Because they don't think twice about offending us. I mean, seriously, yeah.
Chief, any comments on these?
I just get a lot of complaints, like the next day at like noon, people call and say they saw somebody in their yard at 2 o'clock in the morning and they don't call us.
Right, well.
And then the other thing is people leave their cars unlocked. Like the 3 cars you talked about, all 3 were unlocked and the keys were in the car.
No, the one car was mine and I can guarantee you it was locked. And they were all Fords.
Which car was yours?
On Lehigh.
It was, yeah, I just read that report today. And the keys were in the car.
No, well, there was an extra set, but that was not the original. But
So
that's,
please lock your vehicles and don't leave your keys in your car. That will help.
And I know myself, I double check my car before I go to bed every night and beep at the make o'clock, because I am aware of the car, the break-ins in cars, you know, in this car. I am
and it
aware.
doesn't happen here, it's just filtering in all of a sudden, I mean,
I double check mine every night.
Chief, so your night turn crew, can you make sure they're taking the slit tops and the unbarts out on night turn?
Yes.
For a few months, for 2 months? That should be able to help. They're not gonna be able to tell us if I'll come up right away.
Exactly.
The reflective striping won't be on there. And if you just have them sign the night turn cards out for a couple weeks, and hopefully we can catch somebody and catch them in the act. And have extra patrols put up there, please.
I agree.
Did anybody give the police their ring videos?
They did, they showed them, yeah. And the neighbor has quite a complex one, and you can see them. I mean, it's on my phone, you can see them, but you can't get that close. And then I hear too, they're so young. They're under 18. They're probably taller than half you people in this room and stronger. But they're children. Well, where were their parents? I think you should go after the parents and find out. Now, that's another topic for another time, but.
So the car that was recovered in Kentucky was left behind, and another car was stolen from Kentucky, and they were stopped in Ohio. So we have suspects now.
Good, good, that's
We
good to hear.
dusted the vehicle for prints, and
Right.
we're waiting to see who they come back to.
Right.
So we do have a suspect now.
Good, good.
If you have pictures, post them on the Munhall Cares page, I mean, on the Munhall community page, on the Mayor Pulse page. Get their face out there, so everybody can start to see at least what they're looking like. I mean, shoes, you'd be surprised, these people wear green shoes, orange shoes. They wear shoes that you can say, oh, I've seen that. I mean, if we can at least see that part, it's something that somebody else may see. I'm upwind, so if I'm out and about, I say, oh, there's a guy with, green shoes on, I can call him and say, hey, see what he's up to. There's things that we can do as a community. We can help everybody if we're putting the pictures out there, sharing it.
Every little bit helps.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, we could send, we could have a crime watch officer, we could send them maybe a crime watch meeting. We can alert people to things that are going on. Maybe we can have a crime watch meeting sometime next month after Labor Day. Maybe we can do a crime watch meeting somewhere in, we'll get one of the churches, or we can do it right here at the Borough Building.
Are you talking about residents?
Residents, yeah.
Well, yeah, everybody looks out for each other up there.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You look out,
But a
you look
crime watch
at
meeting will
the
get,
doorbell and the car's starting, and you can see them standing there, and they get in the car, the lights are on, and then it leaves, just like your heart is breaking, as your car is driven away. I mean, these people, they have to spend money they don't have, and then they have to buy a new car. This is so, and then these so-called children go and they wreck it. It's sad state.
Chief, is it true that a video from a ring felon for a crime like that is inadmissible in court?
No, it's admissible.
Is it? Okay. Mrs. Blazevich, is that it?
That's it.
Thank you.
Yes, bring that to your attention, yes.
Okay, items for discussion with public comments. Melissa, if you would read them off.
Topic of Old Borough. President Brennan spoke and directed Mr. Vicey to turn on the water system at the old municipal building so that the boiler system can fill along with the radiators and the use of the bathrooms. Also, the former borough manager did not inform council that the boiler system needed repaired, so they're looking into repairing that and getting all that together. President Brennan, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Wouldn't that have been noted in the engineer's report when they did the test of the borough building over there, whether the boiler was working?
No, that report was not for mechanical systems. It was just for hazardous materials.
So does the boiler work now, or does it need repaired?
Oh, I have no clue. I have no knowledge of the boiler.
The engineer does not know the status of the boiler.
Next week.
Okay.
Do we know what's wrong with it, Vice? Guesstimate, anything, you know, in that range?
It was torn apart, but I don't know what part it was, and the guy was supposed to come back and never did.
So it was noted that the water was shut off, somebody came and tried to repair it and never came back.
Correct. That's what Bob was over there with, President Brennan. So, we're just waiting for.
That was found out to us after the fact, after the winter was over. Correct. Yeah. Bob had someone come there. They never did fix the boiler. It was never made aware to council, and that's why there's flaking in the building. As I walked through it this year, I asked questions to myself, why are these walls like this? Well, that's why, because the heating was not on in the building last year. That's ridiculous.
I mean, so it's one heater for the whole building, correct?
One boiler.
One boiler for the, everything except for the firewall.
Okay. That's all I was getting at.
Yeah, they have their own separate furnaces.
Okay.
Any other comments about it?
Are we gonna get it repaired?
We're waiting for them to come back to repair it. That's what Bob
Okay.
just.
I've spoken to a boiler guy, and he told me that he would come and look at it. So I want the water turned on, and I'll be glad to get him in there if that's what council chooses. If not, then council or the new borough manager can get someone else as well.
Well, it's gonna have to be repaired because winter's right around the corner, so.
Yep.
Well, if you shut off the water, that's like you did last year, it's not a concern. Except it was very to the point that the water was shut off. So, we knew that
I
was
can't hear
better
what
than
you're
that.
Any other comments on that?
President Brennan is going to reach out to Munhall Cares about moving into the old Borough Building.
We'll take it.
We got Munhall, Rick, we got Munhall Cares right here.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Awesome, I've been waiting to hear from her.
Well, go ahead, speak up, look.
Hi, Mr. Brennan, it's Carol Lawson, and we would love to have the space. We would appreciate the space. Thank you all so much.
That's why we want to clean the garage up. I want to get the water on and get heat in the building. And then certainly, I would think that we would have our solicitor draft up some sort of a agreement with you all so that there wouldn't be liability for us being in there. So that would be something that we could all work out with our solicitor, and we'd be glad to have you in there. And we want to get the heat on, and we want to get a bathroom going in there for you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And Bob Vicey, I'll be more than happy to volunteer some of my time and try to help you fill the boiler system up and get someone in there to fix it with you, if you want.
Oh, that'd be appreciated.
Question, why not give them
Is
the
that
space on the
okay
second
with
floor?
council?
It's no cost. You have a roughed-in area on the second floor, plus another area. You wouldn't need to repair
I don't
anything.
think, go ahead, speak up.
The second floor of this building has a roughed-in area, plus another room that was available last time they were here. It would run you no money right there to do. Some money to get a camera itself, but you're not going to spend any more on utilities. You're going to have utilities for a whole building. If the space is adequate for the people, let them use the second floor. There's no cost.
I'm not sure if the space on the second floor will be adequate for the free store. The free store is running out of a lot of space now, and I don't know if there's.
I'm not sure the square foot requirements, but it would make a lot of sense to use existing space itself. Now, the roughed-in area is not finished, but it's no different than a garage. So, and
The garage would be better because of the parking and the openness, and if we do have the free store join up there, to be able to have the people come, it would just be the needs of the people would be better met over there than up here.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think.
You have the driveway there, you can have the front
Right.
part of the garage.
Right,
The
and
parking
we
lot's
need-
right there. It's
Yeah.
kind of a perfect setup.
It's a perfect set. I mean, when you thought about it, since I talked to you guys, it would be perfect
I
for
think
us.
it would be
Yeah, up
ideal
here.
if we get someone in the building, using the building again, the fire company's in there, we need to have that going, so I think it's a win-win for everyone.
Nice whether they can open up the garage and they can bring stuff out.
Right, like we do
Outside.
that, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we could do the pop, and the pop-up could be right inside instead of outside.
And we're bringing it back to one
Yeah.
I just
And
think,
also, I'd like to be able to get the people in this area, down at the free store, we're only getting the people down there. We're not getting the people up here. They're not traveling down to Homestead. I want to see the people in Munhall taking advantage of the donations and stuff too. We're not, we're not getting people from up here coming down to Homestead. There's something up here would be best.
I mean, we're paying for lights, gas, utilities here. My only thing is, we can't say we don't have funding for a police officer, but then we're gonna pay for utilities over there when we're already using utilities here. I think we should possibly try to figure out a way to use the second floor and make it work for you guys. I would like to, I want to see you up on top of the hill, yes. But we need to make sure we're doing it right. Funding and everything else. If the boiler costs $30,000, $40,000 to fix, we don't know.
It's a part that needs put in.
What's the part?
Bob Lacey told me that the man never came back to change the part.
I mean, but we don't know what the part is. We don't know the extent of the
If you don't want
repair.
me to get involved, then I won't.
I didn't say that, Rick. All I'm saying is we need to make sure we dot our i's, cross our t's before we go and say, hey, let's move up here. We move all the stuff up there. It's nice right now. It's gonna be nice in September. And then come October, November, the heat's not fixed. Now we're scrambling to move them again.
Yeah. We're storing everything in our houses right now for what we have, and a little bit that we have down there.
So you feel that the old borough would be
Adequate, more than adequate for us.
More than adequate.
Perfect, yeah, it would be perfect for the needs, especially we have a lot of people that come to the free store that have a lot of mobility issues. I think navigating, even though it's ADA compliant here, it's just a lot with the people that, and I think it would be more beneficial to have them be all on one level and out of the garage, and easier for them to get in and out with carrying things, and, I think it would just be easier overall.
No, I mean, I know we need some work, boiler and stuff needs done. Can we set up a time, maybe Bob, you can open it up and let them see what's there? Because I know they're interested in, seeing the layout, that way they can start their planning, what they want to do in there.
I'd like to see it too. I'd like to get
I'd like to go
a
myself,
beat down
yeah.
there and kind of go over there. I haven't been to the old building since it was closed up.
Mr. President, are you listening to this?
I am.
So the thing of it is everybody wants to go in there and take a peek at it, including Munhall Cares. So if we could set up something next week,
Fine by me.
cool.
Fine with me.
Sounds good.
I think it would be an ideal place for them to be. I think it would be much better for them to be there than in upstairs in the Willis Center building. It's much more plain to see. Right on West Street is perfect. So that's up to council, whatever council wants to do.
Well, the folks that are with Munhall Cares are nodding their heads saying it's perfect.
There you go.
I'm with Munhall Cares too.
Okay.
So first thing is does Bob have the water on in the boiler room, and can we fill the boilers up, and can we see what's going on with that boiler system? Once we get to that point, we can get the heat on in the building again, which it should have never been turned off. And then we can start working on getting some cleanup going and get some bathrooms in there for them to use while they're in there.
Bob?
The water's off.
The water's on.
Water's been on.
Good job.
We just shut the water off at the bathrooms, so there was no cracked pipes or anything.
I'll be glad to work with you.
Cool.
That's if council wants it, because I hear people saying they don't want it, so I don't know.
The boiler part was supposed to be like $300-400.
Did you hear that?
What he told me, but I
That's what I'm hearing.
can't remember what he called the part, but it was like $300-400.
We're not talking thousands of dollars.
No.
The boiler's repairable, we don't have to replace the boiler, so that's kind of that.
Yes.
There was questions on it, so we know now the board does not have to be replaced.
But no matter what, we can't leave the boiler off another winter.
No.
So it's gonna have to be put on,
So
so
we fixed it.
there you go.
We don't need a new boiler.
There you go.
Any more discussion on this topic?
I have a question, is it the original boiler?
No.
So it's a newer, so it's not an 83-year-old boiler?
Well, it's probably 33 years old, but
Okay,
it's
well,
not
that's better than
85.
So when I said 83, the building was constructed in 1940.
No, it was replaceable.
Okay, well, that's better news.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can we move on?
President Brennan is putting this subject matter up for discussion about hiring a part-time police officer for the Borough of Munhall.
Okay. Discussion and public comments on that subject.
I want a full-time officer. Part-time right now, I would believe the picking is pretty thin. It's hard to find somebody. Years ago, you could find part-time officers. Today, it's hard to find somebody to do police work. And I want a full-time officer on, and that will enable us to get somebody in the park school every day.
I agree with the mayor on that, 100%.
I agree too.
So do I. I agree.
Bernie, how's it look money-wise?
Money-wise, well, as far as the resource officer, it's gonna be paid for by the school district.
9 months.
9 months of the year, so that's not that big of an issue. 9 months of the year, and from, I think we talked to Tim a little while, the benefits, is that part of the package for the resource officer? The school district?
The deal they have with them, so the benefits are part of it.
Right,
So
part of it.
I don't
Okay,
see why it would be different.
We're talking 9 months of the year, we have an officer leaving next June,
Correct.
so it's gonna work out for us. Kind of perfect timing,
Perfect storm.
yeah.
We originally hired 3 in April. One of the guys turned it down, so we only put 2 of the 3 on. So we've been saving from April till now also.
I'm gonna ask the chief this question. We had a good candidate that was coming out of the academy. Do we know if he's found a job yet?
He has not, and we talked to him about it a week and a half ago.
So he would still be interested. A young guy, coming right out of the academy. He wouldn't be going into the school, he would be on the street. Somebody else. So I would like to see a 23, 24-year-old guy come into this police force and be on the borough and better protection for all of us too.
We probably end up one of our older full-time.
Sure, it'll be a patrol.
Go back to the school.
There won't be any sergeants anymore.
It's gonna work out good.
I mean, I have a comment, it's still valid, would they definitely pick up the cost for that, even though they have one SRO in the high school?
There's
That's
another
what I was
position
saying.
sending us.
Do we have anything in writing to that?
Nothing's in writing.
Good question. I know the school board's been.
School boards discuss things just like you guys discuss things, and gal discuss things. So I get that in writing first.
Good.
When we spoke at the crisis team meeting like 2 weeks ago, the superintendent had asked where we at with that in the school, having the officer in there, and we were still waiting on discussion of hiring. So the superintendent wants it, the school board wants it for sure.
Okay.
They definitely will, I've talked.
Can I point something out? There was a statement, of mutual understanding signed last year that Seth Abrams put together with Tom.
There's an MOU.
The school district, yes.
There was an MOU last year, and they have one prepared. I think we missed their school board meeting where they could pass it. I think it was last week. But it would be easy to get another MOU.
Right, it was best effort. That's what was agreed upon. So in last year's budget, there were two new police officers, not there were two. So.
And we lost one, that's
We
why.
lost an officer.
Well, yeah, I know you, because of the.
So that's
So-
what we had with the three.
So, I mean,
supposed to be three.
if your finances are showing, the borough manager can tell you where you're at finance-wise right there. I think you can make a better decision. You
As
know.
soon as the manager starts, we'll have a better idea. We'll put
Well,
it in
it's in the budget, you have budgeted for 2 police officers.
That, yes, I agree, but where are you at in reference to budget?
You're,
That's the question.
you are, you could hire, you are capable of doing that because as Bill mentioned, an officer has passed away. So if you take the,
I
if you,
get it, because I did last year's budget. So my real question is, on top of that, is where are we at as far as year-to-date budget versus that?
good.
All over, because you have.
I just looked at the police part of it, Mr. Hammond.
Okay, well that's, you know, for some of the discussions that are being had here, reference to Creek Street, if you come under 500, if you get the grants, which I imagine you have to pay up front, then you get reimbursed. Okay, that's a timing issue. You set aside $500,000 for Turtle Creek, for the paving itself. So I really think you need to see where you're at to see you can make good decisions.
That's why I wanted discussion.
Well, the issue of the school district paying is a big issue. And so,
There was a period of time where they were behind, right there.
I was never aware of that on payments.
It was when they had, their finance person had left. There was a short period of time in the spring to summer of 2020.
How does that happen, Bill? You were here last year. They reimburse us monthly? How do they pay for that?
Yeah.
Turn in their time sheets.
You turn it in,
And
yeah,
they
okay.
reimburse you. Sometimes they didn't turn them in exactly when we get back. from the
We have to
meeting.
turn in the time sheets too, so it's a two-edged sword.
I know Rick brought up the idea that in our schools, Barrett is in Homestead, and they have a police officer down in Barrett, okay, all the time. West Homestead children go to a park school, and West Homestead children go to the middle school and to the high school. And he asked, maybe we should go and mention to West Homestead that they could contribute to this, because their children are benefiting from the SRO.
That's something the school district should be doing, not us. School district should be going to the municipalities, asking them to reimburse. We wouldn't necessarily go to West Homestead. That's not none of our business. As a resource officer,
What's putting the bill?
that's the school district's footing the bill. And that's a school district issue. Get reimbursed municipalities, they'd have to go to West Homestead.
And West Homestead police officers do not have jurisdiction in Munhall.
I thought so.
Tells you that right there.
I thought so.
We had short agreements with them. I spoke with our solicitor and he said it could be worked out.
Why would we take away work from our guys to give it to West Homestead when they're footing the bill? The school is footing the bill. So then for 3 extra months, you have another guy on the street during the summertime. It doesn't make any sense to.
Yeah, but if West Homestead puts a police officer up there 2 days a week, and we put a police officer up there for 3, we have an extra officer on for 2 more days out of the week
To be in the borough.
to be patrolling.
Well, we can't talk about having money money issues with the officer if we're losing. He's not going to get the full refund of the 9 months from the school. So that's more money out of the borough budget that's going to go to the police officer.
I have a question, please.
Please stand up.
I totally understand SNRs in the middle and high school, dealing with teenagers, puberty, pre-puberty. I get that. I understand the need there. I understand the need for an SO or office officer in the elementary school as well for safety. My question, I have a question too on that. What is Park School already doing for the safety for the children? And what does this school resource officer do at Park School for elementary children?
Wouldn't that be a question for the school board to answer?
I don't know, I'm asking.
I don't think we can.
We're talking about SROs.
I think our chief could answer that.
We have,
Okay.
the school has 2 security guards at Park School. And then we had an SRO in there full-time, but we had to pull him out because we had to cover the road. So what we try to do is 2-3 days a week, we are able to put somebody in there full-time. The other time, we just take turns rotating.
Okay. And so, you know, maybe what I'm not saying in this whole big picture is, what exactly does this person do while this person is at Park School? Does he go around checking doors? Does he mount up at the doors? Does he check windows? Does he check doors? Does he,
He does all the above. He also monitors who comes in and out of the building.
Yes. Now, is there a system in place now that is, can anyone walk into Park School, or do you have a bus? I don't know.
People
Do you have a
have gotten
buzzer
into
to be
the
admitted?
school. Yeah, people have gotten into the school. Sometimes doors are propped open that shouldn't be propped open. One time this guy just walked right in and was walking around for almost a half hour before anybody even questioned him. And he started asking questions about how many kids are in the school, when's recess, weird questions. But by the time we got there, he was gone. We've had another person take pictures of kids walking in and out of the school. So there are some issues. It doesn't happen every day, but we've had issues up there.
Right.
I pick up my grandkids there when they're sick. You can go in the side door, you buzz in, and you sign. And they make you wait there, and they bring the child to you. So there's a system going on there. You have to buzz to get in.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Well, I know when we went up, Brady, when we went up to speak with the 3rd graders, it was pretty tough to get in that school.
Right.
I mean, definitely. I mean, they knew who we were coming to speak to the 3rd grade class. But I mean,
They gave us visitors lanyards too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying anything about having an officer there, but I mean, their security itself is pretty decent. You know?
I was impressed with it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna guess that the next one is, Melissa, if you wanna read the next one?
President Brennan is putting the subject matter up for discussion, placement of a full-time police officer in Park School. Do you want me to go to the next one?
I think that, yeah, that was probably hashed over pretty good.
Alright, so the 2024 blight abandoned properties discussion with a total of 77 properties.
I would think we discussed that pretty thoroughly. I don't know if there's any other questions about that, but it's,
So, go ahead, please.
Okay, I already talked to Dan Cannon, or Dave Cannon, about.
Ma'am, if you would please stand up and give your name and your.
My name is Mary Kay Moss. I'm a resident of Munhall. I live at 617, and I've already went over this with him about Watering's old place. It's no longer Watering's, belongs to someone else, but it's 615 East 18th Avenue. And the thing was okay, he explained to me that the borough cannot go on that property and maintain that property, and the owner of that place isn't maintaining it. They said they've taken him to court a couple of times. They've gotten nowhere with that. The back of that place is terrible. That it's overgrown onto our property. I have a privacy fence up. Right. Everything is coming over onto my property from over there. I asked them if the borough could do anything about cleaning it up over there, because he left, the person that owned that property had put dirt or something out in the alleyway, that it's out in the alleyway. And I mean, it looks horrendous. It's terrible back there. It's all overgrown. I mean, there's rodents over there. He said that rodents don't breed. They do breed over there. We've seen it. We've seen the rodents, the raccoons, everything. You name it, it's back there. Okay, they said the borough can't do anything about it because they can't go on that property because it's privately owned. Well, you know what? They used to go on there. They used to go on there with motor and left it. The borough went in there and cut it. For the longest time, they were cutting that. And now all of a sudden, they can't cut it and they can't maintain that property?
Dave, Bob?
Well, it was brought to you guys' attention last month. That was one of the people who was brought to, the magistrate didn't show up. I asked council if I could send someone down there to cut it and put a lien on the property. You said,
Greg
under Greg's advised, the borough shouldn't be going on private property to take care of it.
Right. I did say, we discussed this last month, it should be a last resort. It's not a purpose of a municipality such as this borough to spend taxpayer dollars to maintain someone's private property who's neglecting his or her duty.
On that community page, people were coming at me saying, why don't you go over there and take care of it? Well, as you can see, we're not teenagers and we're not able to do that.
Well, you mentioned the alley. We're responsible for the alley.
Oh, the alley is...
The alleyways in the lower end are horrendous.
Oh, it's terrible. It is so bad back there. It's
You said what's coming out into the alley?
I don't know. Right. They must have piled up.
What is it? Dirt?
They must have either piled up.
Yeah, it's building materials. It's dark building materials, a little bit of everything.
Is it in the
I'm not
alleyway?
sure what
It's
is
right.
all back there, but it's like it's onto the road now. You know? I mean, everything is like overgrown. It's as high as the fence. I mean, it's just terrible.
We can clean up the alley, right, Bob?
Yes.
Yeah, we can clean up the alley.
And as far as Dave, as far as your place goes, the roof is falling in. I told Gannon about that. Your building in our row, that roof is caving in up there.
It's not caving in.
Oh, yes, it is. It is caving in. If you go across the street and you look up and you can see your roof on your place is caving in.
There's some shingles missing, but it's not caving in.
Yeah, it's caving in.
All right, I'll look at it.
It is definitely caving in. And you know what? There's a main structure beam that runs in that row. And that's why we were worried about Modern's old place, because that main structure beam was showing through a hole that, because of the fire that she had over there, there was a hole up there. And that beam was showing up there. And my brother-in-law told me, if that gets wet and that beam gets ruined, our roofs are gonna go. You know, and that's the same way as your place there, your roof.
I'll look at it.
And that's why I'm worried about it, because those roofs we're all connected. And we live there. I pay my taxes, we live there. Nobody else lives there but us, and we have to deal with this stuff. And you're saying the borough can't help us. Well, you know what? They're taking that guy to court, and nothing's being done.
They will clean
So
the alley
now
tomorrow.
what?
They will clean the alley tomorrow. They'll get the
And
alleyway
there's
cleaned
people
up.
dropping stuff on my property. We've picked it up many a times and took it
Oh,
away.
yeah, your front and back is always cut and
I
taken
try to take
care of,
care of
but I don't think you knew about your roof
I'll look at
caving
it.
in.
It'll be looked at.
Okay.
They're gonna clean the alley tomorrow. I mean, that's something that I've been talking a lot about. We're gonna work on getting down there and getting them alleyways cleaned.
And that alleyway is.
Every one of them is bad, from 22nd to Apex.
So explain it. Go ahead, Greg.
Vice President Hondo was asking me about going on to private property. There are a lot of liability risks associated with sending borough employees. If
I
someone gets
understand
hurt, or the property owner could say, you damaged my property, and turn around
But
and
you know
sue
what,
us.
they've done it before though, they have gone,
I
the borough did go on that property.
I understand. Listen, it's not my decision, but I said, I give legal advice, and I know the law about municipalities, and you're not supposed to spend taxpayer dollars, which is our workers, to clean up someone's private property, or cut their grass, or whatever. It's their burden. We need to prosecute them to force them to do what they're legally obligated to do, and that's what we're trying to do. That has to be our primary effort. Now, in an emergency situation, something, yeah, it can be done, but it can't be a routine practice where our public works is just cutting everyone's grass because they don't do it.
Yes, sir.
I got, since the meeting about blight is gonna be on the 3rd of September, I'd like to talk about a couple things briefly. First off, the Tricog Land Bank was enacted last year by Homestead and West Homestead boroughs. In the last year, they now both there's 3 properties in West Homestead and 7 in Homestead that have been purchased by the Tricog Land Bank. And last year, the land bank sold 21 properties, and so far this year, 12. They have a full-time person that runs this. I think the council should seriously look at this program as an adjunct, right, to what they're trying to do. You know, I'm glad to hear that everybody's recognizing the change right there with Act 152. It's a new process, new form of the county. I'm glad to hear that. And then there was a study done by the old borough manager to take a look at the rental registry. And I would like to know if that is going to be considered. It is an ordinance. It is not being enacted right now. You can look at on E360 for the ordinance itself. But one of the things that the ordinance says has a specific thing in there about landowners, if they're renting it, they have to have a representative within a distance of Munhall Borough. I know that on a recent, and I believe it's the same property you pointed out, that you know, Brad pointed out that the owner was in New Jersey and hasn't paid their taxes in quite a while. Okay? So I think, I mean, it's good that, because in the fall of 22, there were designated 72 properties that were considered abandoned. 77 is better, but then again, when previous conversations with some members of the fire department thought that it was higher itself. So I'm looking forward to the discussion on the 9th. I think that the study that was done by the master student should be, if it hasn't been read by the council already, it should be distributed to the public. I think that ordinance should be enacted. I think you should work with, you know, the grant writers to assist right there on anything with Act 152. But it goes to the COG anyhow, so you might as well work with the COG and have serious discussions about joining the land bank itself. I think that's how you're going to address the blight issue.
I think the land bank's the way to go to. I can't believe we're not.
I don't. I'm totally against the land bank.
Well, we've got 10 properties that now that are available for sale here soon in Homestead and West London. That's in a period of 1 year of them. You know, it takes a while to get the program going.
That's very odd, and that's really not the statistics that they've found.
Well, I have it from their last report, and well,
it's very rare that you would get that many
well,
buildings purchased.
The rarity is perhaps you should go back and talk to them because it is in writing.
Okay.
Carl's been pushing that land bank for a long time.
I'm not disagreeing with you right there, but to me it's an opportunity itself. And they do, besides, they also do, you know, land and properties. So, and they are also, in their latest minutes, they have gone for Act 152 money to demolish houses, okay? Which is going to make the process a little easier for you. Plus, they have a full-time employee that works with this. You have a code enforcement officer that's got a long list of duties. And, supervisor of public works, long list of duties. Make itself easier for yourself, okay? And I think it's going to show, I mean, if you just look at the boroughs that are part of this, Millville, Pitcairn, Monroeville, Turtle Creek, Etna, Forest Hills, Chalfont, Clarendon, East Pittsburgh, and the list goes on and on. It's worth a serious discussion with Ann Lewis.
Bill, I remember when Ann Lewis, who is from the call, came and gave her presentation about it. And the thing was, your numbers sound really good, but you pay into it for, let's say, 6, 7 years, and then they pick 1 or 2 properties.
Well, that's not what's happened here. That's the point.
Are they saying that those people actually applied and they were all given it in the first year? See, that's why we're part about it.
In the last year, 7 properties in Homestead and 3 in West Homestead. That is in the last year.
And how long have they paid into the COG to get that benefit?
They just started last year.
Okay.
It's worth a conversation.
What's the cost?
The cost is 10%. They go 3 years back until you pay your delinquent real estate tax. It's 10% of your delinquent real estate tax.
It was 5% when she applied, when she came here. And then it was 50% for 5 years of the actual taxes themselves, which is shared with, the school district also. It's worth serious consideration.
Still Valley in the land bank?
Yes, they are.
So
They need us to get involved so they can.
Well, I wouldn't say
come
no
to
money.
Munhall
We're not
and do it.
getting the taxes right
They
now
can't do
anyway.
it without us.
Not getting anything now.
Right, so we're not really losing anything because we're not getting it already.
Yep.
I mean, they're
You're right.
They're gonna.
I'm just-
You're not.
I'm making sure I'm on the right page here. I don't know a lot about the land bank.
It's
so
a
I'm just
worth
trying
a
to-
discussion with them to go over. You've got 77 abandoned properties. You could say, hey, here's a list of properties right there. Do you have any interest? Let's have a discussion, okay, about opportunity. They're in the business of this, okay? It pretty much takes you out of it, and eventually, you're gonna get taxes back, you're gonna get properties renewed, you're gonna eliminate some blight. If there are properties that they buy and need demolished, they're gonna go for the funds and the grant right there to have them demolished. It's worth a serious discussion.
When did Ann Lewis make her presentation to council?
In the fall of 2022.
She did, how long ago? It was a couple of months ago she was there?
No.
I'm aware of it.
More than a year ago.
Fall of 2022.
Bill said about fall.
She wasn't here. I've been here since January, she wasn't
Fall
here.
of 22.
No, 22.
So it's almost, it's 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
It's time to take another look at it.
Yeah,
Can we bring her in?
Sure.
sure, she'll come up. I talked her up 7 Spring. She explained it to me, and I don't know everything about it, but this was discussed years ago. It's worth bringing her in again. Sure.
Can we get that set up for next month? Then you can tell her
Yeah, I can give you a call, yeah.
before you leave.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Susie Collins from West Run Road. Dave, I just had a question about the process. So if you see somebody that has overgrowth, their lawn, you issue them something, say they don't respond, they don't take care of it, what's the timeline
Okay,
for
here.
that
I'll
happens?
tell you, I'm glad you brought that up. Second week in May, I went around Munhall. I sent out 250 letters for people who hadn't cut their grass. Out of those 250, 77 didn't cut their grass, so I filed paperwork to match. I usually give them 10 days to cut their grass. So I filed the paperwork middle May, or middle June. I had a hearing July 23rd for people who didn't cut their grass.
From May.
From May, middle of May. July 23rd, I removed 49 of them because they cut it by then. 24 people showed up, or 4 people showed up. We gave them a continuance. The other 20 people didn't show up, so they got fined. There was one lady, then they have 30 days to apply downtown. There was a lady that fought it, appealed downtown. Her hearing's not until December 17th.
So then you can't do anything more until she has that initial hearing. For the people that didn't show up, then how quickly do you turn around and?
I have to wait 30 days before they appeal,
Okay, so
and then I
August
start the
then
process.
looking at.
Yep.
Okay.
And I won't have those hearings until probably October for the grass. Now, out of those 20 people, more than likely 18 won't show up, if not all 20. The process is broke. My next hearing is December 17th, downtown.
The court system is backed up. You know, I do code for Homestead, so the thing is, like, I put people on those in July. My hearing's not till September 24th. So you're almost, grass season cutting is gonna be over at that point in time.
Is there any, and this is just a stupid question, because I know my neighbor was fined, I think it was $400, but he doesn't cut his grass the whole summer, so that $400 fine is worth it to him instead of going out there and cutting his grass each week. Is there any way to increase the fines at all? So
It's
that it actually won't hurt
$1,000.
him?
I mean, it's up to the magistrate.
Okay.
The magistrate, if you don't show up, it's a $1,000 fine. If you show up and it's your first offense, he may give $300 to $500 fine.
Okay, but
then it goes up,
okay.
because like next time I take them, they'll ask me, is this person been here in front of me before? Yes. Then it goes up.
But at least taking action is better than no action. And, you know, if the word gets out that there will be action, take it. Anything's better than nothing. That's my view. When you don't do anything, then people continue to abuse and it gets worse.
And theoretically, in Pennsylvania, you only have to cut your grass once, and you're good. Because by the time the process, it's December.
Yeah, that's about what he does, so that makes sense. Thank you for.
There's a lot of people that know the system. They know the system.
Mr. Lawyer?
Yes.
While you're talking about the property, and I'm on West Run Road also.
Yes.
I live next door to the duplex and the apartment building that the O'Brien's own. And this guy bought this 10 years ago in a sheriff's sale. He's not lived in it. It's filled with building materials, and the backyard is so overgrown. I've been working with Dave for all these years because of the rats and everything. However, last week, I really freaked out because the groundhog, I mean, last year it went under my brand new deck, I fixed that. This summer, it started going under my shed that my husband thought he ground-proofed. Apparently he didn't, so I'm paying somebody to fix that. But last week, I now have 6 large, big, deep holes against my foundation. And when I come outside and they run from my garden, they run right over to his yard and under the fence.
They go under that, they dig a hole under that.
I have talked to Dave a lot. They want to show you some of the pictures so you see what I live by.
They will dig a hole.
Okay, I understand
100
that.
yards.
Here's the thing. Okay, yesterday was 5 years my husband passed. I'm a single woman, no family, trying to take care of this house by myself. I want something done with this guy. I mean, but Dave said they're allowed to have all that crap in the backyard.
No, I did not say that.
Well, you said,
I
said there's a deck back there and it's all covered, and you said, allowed to grow.
you're allowed to have trees in your backyard.
That whole deck.
I showed you the picture of all the whole neighbors up and down that street. It's a hillside behind her house, and
I know, that was a.
it's a hillside.
When we bought our
You're allowed
house,
to have
they told us
trees.
that was a, some kind of alley.
You're allowed,
Paper alley.
right, it's a paper alley. You're allowed to have trees and bushes in your backyard.
But
The only
this
thing
is
I can
within
do,
his fence.
the only thing I can do is grass and weeds.
And it's weeds.
It's not weeds. The trees are not weeds. Bushes are not weeds.
They're
Like
weeds.
I told you today. I came back. I sent Mr. Kohler a letter to him telling him to clean up the drywall on the back porch and the brush pile that's in the middle of the thing. I told you that. I can't write people up for cutting down trees. I get called on a regular.
I was upset with the groundhogs. I got freaked out. I did all this. I'm done. I reached out to a guy. It is going to cost me $250 a trap, and 2 traps, and $100 for every groundhog they catch. Apparently, I'm going to have to pay it. So tomorrow I have to make a decision. Do I take care of the groundhogs that are digging holes along my foundation, or do I pay my school taxes? Because I get my Social Security check tomorrow, and that's what I have to decide to do. Do I get the groundhogs, or do I pay my taxes to her? Because I don't have that kind of money.
Pay your taxes.
I'm good.
I'm gonna tell you a little story, and because people have been bringing up my groundhogs. Neighbor across the street from me called me up on the phone and said, Kevin, did you release that groundhog that I caught in the trap? I said, I didn't even know that you had a trap out there to catch a groundhog. She says, well, on my ring phone, I saw that she caught a groundhog in a trap.
Right.
Somebody stopped, saw the groundhog, went up and released it. Went in her yard next to her porch and released the groundhog. She had it on her ring.
You saw the guy, whoever took it out?
She saw his back.
They live under the shed of the guy behind me, and then they've dug holes under the fence, and then they live on his property. I watch them, but now they're coming to me. And I'll do what I have to do. That's why if I have no recourse. And then he built this stupid white wall. Did you see that white wall he put up? Because he has drywall sitting back there for 6 years and appliances I've had to look at. I have company mode in my house, and they go, how could you live next door to that? So anyhow, I said my piece. Thank you for listening to me. And I will get rid of the groundhogs one way or the other.
We're gonna move on from the groundhogs.
Yep.
Melissa?
Next one is the Homestead Borough Procedures of Temporary Tax Exemption Tax Abatement Application, which I think Dave already talked about.
Yeah, we already covered that.
Okay, next one is discussion of Kennedy Park grant and Eagle Scout renovations, and I think Mrs. Council.
She covered it. So anyway, if anybody has not gone to our local monuments, like at the Homestead Cemetery or the co-op and stuff like that, these Boy Scouts who do this for their Eagle Scout do a marvelous, marvelous job. Okay, that's it. I'm done with that.
Next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Discuss if council will consider old schools, buildings, etc. to be turned into apartments in the R2 area.
Shouldn't that be going for the,
Planning Commission.
Well, yes. Here's the thing. It went in front of planning. They said yes. They recommend it. Now, from what Greg says, it has to go in front of you guys to say, yeah, we would consider that. Greg would have to write an ordinance or change the ordinance to add this. Then it would have to go in front of planning. You have to advertise, have planning, then come back to council, advertise, and have a vote.
Jesse, is that the way it works?
I don't know the process at all.
So that would be the process. The question is, would you guys be willing to consider that? Like I said, if you guys said, yeah, we would look into that, Greg would write up the ordinance. And it would go in front of planning, they would vote on it and recommend it or not recommend it like you wrote up, and then it would come in front of you.
Okay, cool.
Jesse, talk about the great work you did with like Schwab School and Bishop Boyle and the tenants that are in those buildings to show what was going on, with your property you want to possibly do. Please.
Sure, yeah, I'll be short and sweet. I have two partners on those schools. We purchased both, we now call it both High. It was Bishop Boyle and Schwab Industrial.
Jesse,
Yes, you can. My partners and I purchased Boyle High School and Schwab, and we converted those to 64 units. A nicer, higher end product that we were able to do, and we brought in, at least 64 individuals to this area. The vast majority of the tenants that occupy that space now are people that are moving from out of town, moving into town, and so we're bringing additional individuals into the community, and it's kind of fallen into a bit of a niche that we're starting to do more of. I came across an opportunity of another school that's in a residential area, and my personal opinion and the reason this was discussed was because many of these schools or churches or larger buildings that have been around for a long time in residential areas, in my opinion, it makes more sense for them to be residential rather than commercial storefronts or anything of that nature. And so instead of going through the process of trying to apply to get approval for variances on when these schools do become vacant or churches become vacant, there was a discussion of existing buildings being eligible to be converted to apartments. So that was, currently I purchased a property up on West Schwab. It is in Munhall, a small school and a convent, and we are exploring the option of converting to apartments. It's not a guarantee. I've already ran into a couple challenges from a financial standpoint, higher interest rates, and I work with a lot of investors, and I'm running into some challenges on if it will even be feasible from a financial standpoint to do so as well as now. But that was something that we had a discussion about and seeing if that was a possibility.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments about that discussion? No. Okay, public comments on items for consideration. Now, we've been here a long time now, so we're only going to try to do these for 3 minutes. Any comments about these? Yes?
I have a question on, I guess, motion number 5, or Roman numeral B.
Which one? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
It is motion to pay the bills.
Oh.
Okay, so I have 2 questions on that. The recreation for $10,896.16, what is that for? What is that for? I don't know, I didn't hear a finance report.
I'm not recreation, but going on, I mean, as far as money, I thought it would be parties, because
Tim, what did we,
finance.
we signed check Thursday. What was the, Tim?
Yeah.
What was that $10,000?
I wasn't here last.
Right. It's probably finalizing a payment on something, maybe the playground. I think that came up last time. One of the playgrounds, I believe is what it is. I don't know if it's the one up at the Munhall Gardens. I think it was finalizing that. But I'm not sure.
It was, we had a tree service. The trimming was $6,950 because some of the trees were in the storm. At one of the parks.
Pine Street?
I think it was Kennedy Park. And then we have several parks that the water bills that was like $806. The electricity for total for all of our parks is $2,250. And then we had some maintenance issues, I believe at Vine Street. People were tearing through the grass and things like that. And that was $480.
This wasn't one bill of $10,000.
No, that's for the whole month of July.
Okay.
So the biggie was $6,900 for trees?
Yeah, the biggest one was the $6,950 for the trees.
Okay.
We did have a lot of storm damage this year in the parks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then my second question, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then my second question is under other for $1,611.68.
I can
Do you know what
answer
that
for
is?
you too.
I'd have to look at that on the other, and see what that is. That's probably a combination. That's probably a sundry of minor bills.
That was tax refunds. It's the 491.000. Those were 2 checks that were given due to a veteran getting a tax assessment refund, and then another tax assessment refund also.
Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Melissa.
No problem.
She's pretty good.
I only knew that because I'm the one who got all the checks. And wrote them up.
Good job.
Nothing else? Okay. So motion to pay bills for the period July 1, 2024 through July 31, 2024. Summarize it. Do I get to read the all?
No, you don't. No.
Okay, man.
You know.
Yeah. So payroll expenses are $616,745.43. Not including, and I don't understand this, $303,214.30. That's a lot of money. So I need a motion to pay the bills.
Motion.
Dave?
Second.
Arnie? Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion to approve payroll for the periods ending July 3 to July 18, and the total is $314,454.23. I need a motion?
Motion.
Go ahead, Ray.
I second. Is that what you said? What about the other side?
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Hey, I don't want everybody to answer at the same time, you know.
I'll make the motion for the next one, David, or Kevin.
Motion to approve a donate, and this has been ongoing. Motion to approve a donation for the amount of $125 to Ann Ashley Church for allowing the Borough of Munhall to host the Memorial Day luncheon.
I motion. Gladly.
Second.
Any questions on the motion?
Kind of do. We have to get to a point where they've been waiting since May for this $125 check. We can just write a check out without coming here. It was a donation to a local church. That should go through the manager and just been done, and to come here 4 months later with something like that, it's kind of ridiculous. Hopefully we can kind of pick it up a little bit with the new manager. You know, that's all I have to say.
I agree.
I agree.
All those in favor? Those opposed? Ayes have it.
Do we hear that or is it just me? I hear me and Dave. Do they all say yes?
They're answering a little bit down here.
I'm not sure.
We're answering.
Motion to approve the placement of a handicap parking sign in front of 220 Washington Street upon recommendation of Chief Fuller. I need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Arnie. Questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion to approve the Cronin-Hogan subdivision, and it's a lot line revision between 509 and 513 West Miller upon the recommendation of the Planning Commission.
Motion.
Second.
Does everybody?
No.
Does everybody know what that is, what it's about?
Yes.
Okay. I need a motion.
Motion.
Tim?
Motion.
Second.
Rich? Questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. A motion to hire David Ty as the new Borough Manager, approval of employment agreement with the start date of August 27, 2024. I'd like to have a roll call vote, Melissa. I need a motion?
Motion.
Bernie? Yes. Roll call vote?
I have a question on it.
Sure.
Why do we wait till tonight to give us a copy of his contract? Shouldn't have been sent out to us prior to go over and read it? And who has seen the background check of him?
I haven't.
Because I know the first candidate we had selected, we were able to see the background check, and we all approved the contract. You know, now we need the contract tonight. I did have time to read it while we were sitting here for 2 hours, but I still haven't seen the background check, and none of us have seen it.
I don't think anybody's seen it.
I didn't. Has anybody seen the background?
Nope.
Has anybody seen the contract?
Nope. The contract is in our
packet.
cloud.
Tonight.
But
I emailed the contract out with the big 81-page packet that I emailed everybody on Friday. So that contract was in there.
I was on vacation.
I was on vacation.
Yeah.
that doesn't help. I mean,
It's basically the same contract.
well, I was able to read it. We had the time tonight. I was able to read the contract, but someone asked Rick, has he read the background check?
Rick, have you read the background check?
I've not read the background check. It was not, we never got a copy of it. I spoke to the people that did the background check and they said it was all clear. I believe Tim was gonna contact them to get the background check. But I did speak with, is it Clink or Click?
Clink.
About it, and they said it was all clear.
Who is the company, Rick?
Clink. K-L-I-N-K.
So, we should have gotten it.
Well, let me make a suggestion to council. If you're so inclined, you can approve this agreement pending upon the background check, and then I'll get the background check for you. I'll call, what's the name of the company? Clint?
Clink.
Clink, I'm sorry, Clink.
Like Colonel.
Yep, we waited for one response from, I believe, Butler County, and we waited an extra week, came in, the woman told me it was good, and I'm sure that
We just amend the motion,
did it,
that's all.
so why, what was put out to council is beyond me.
We just amend the motion, Greg?
Yes, you can make a motion, just amend the motion to include, subject to receipt of background check and approval of the same.
Okay, I'm not gonna repeat that again. So we need a roll call vote.
So I'm doing the roll call vote to amend it until we see the background check?
No, the motion's already been amended.
Okay.
With the change that I stated, unless council
No, that's
corrects
fine.
me. So it's a new motion.
Okay. Councilwoman Fry? Do you want?
I wasn't here for that second interview. I had no idea. I was here for the first one, and that's why I was glad to see the second one, but I wasn't here, so I'd like to abstain. Okay?
Councilman Youngkins?
Yes.
Councilman Shields?
Yes.
Vice President Ondo?
I'm gonna abstain because I wasn't available for the interview.
Councilman Vodadilla?
Yes.
Councilman Eads?
No.
President Brennan?
Yes.
So I have 4 yeses, 2 abstain, and 1 no.
Okay, passes. Okay, Motion to ratify a parking license agreement between the Borough of Munhall and Turtle Creek Valley Mental Retardation Incorporated. Tim, that's your,
Is that a misprint?
I don't know.
No.
No?
No.
MHMR, mental health, mental retardation, that is the name of the entity.
So, is that the parking down below, Matt?
I reported on this in my report.
Yeah.
It's the temporary parking lot down below, which they're going to use at the permission of Borough Council during the construction of the new upper lot.
Okay. Okay, I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions on the motion?
Vice President, who did you give for the second?
Mr. Bodine.
Okay.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion to ratify the contract between the Borough of Munhall and Mr. Tim Little to reinstate part-time services as the interim manager effective August 7th, 2024. Motion.
I motion.
Rich?
Second.
Tim? Any questions on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it.
Mr. Vice President, on these
Yes,
next two motions, they were not on the agenda that was on the website. So
Yes.
under the, technically speaking, under the Sunshine Law with the new law 2-3 years ago, you would have to make a motion to put it on the agenda on each of these and then pass it.
Well, that's even tighter now. So these were not posted 24 hours prior to 7 p.m. You can't award that bid, that's for certain. Can't do that. Motion to approve application.
I believe there's something else that wasn't on there as well.
Yeah, well, is there a deadline for these, is that right? Dan, is there a deadline for these grant applications?
So with GEDTF, Allegheny County Economic Development has already said because you couldn't get the resolution before yesterday, they're gonna accept it late. They said they'll accept the resolution late for that GEDTF. So if that one.
All right, let me just stop. You can vote on that. We're not spending any money. This is submitting a request to get money.
Yeah, that's submitting a request, it's a form resolution that is the same every year.
That's fine, we don't wanna delay that, those are urgencies to try to get grant money for this borough. You can vote on the last one, you cannot vote on the contract for the Creek Street landslide stabilization, that'll have to be deferred until next month. But we're gonna submit a grant anyway, we wouldn't approve it until we see if we get the grant, and someone's gonna talk to the low bidder and see if they'll agree to keep the price open beyond the 60 days to give us time. Anyway, so that's fine. So no on G, you can vote on H.
Okay, motion to approve the application for the Gaming Economic Development Tourism Fund Grant, the GEDTF. Dan already explained it, so we don't need an explanation for that, right?
No,
okay.
I'll go for repairs to Creek Street.
Okay, I need a motion.
Motion.
Okay.
Second.
Tim. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, do we have anybody, public comments on non-agenda items? Yeah, sure.
I'll make mine quick. I'm Brad Patriga from 1332 Margaret Street. I just wanted to thank all of you for your work on the project on Margaret Street for the demolition of 1336. That did happen recently, so we're thrilled that happened. I know Maggie and Randall were here, who are my neighbors at 1334, and they feel the same way. I was also glad to hear of some of the comments tonight with Jesse and Mary as well, that we do have a lot of work still to do on blight and on properties in the community. And I know Dave Cannon's been working on it very hard on that front too. So I'm looking forward to continuing that work and seeing our community come back and be beautiful with ownership and with properties that are cared for. So that's all I wanted to say, and I appreciate your work on all that.
Thank you. Thanks, man. Yes, sir.
John Schuker, the reason why I didn't come in here for this reason tonight, but I happen to think of it while I'm here. I've been getting a runaround from legal tax service. You guys have drop-off box at the old Borough Building, okay? Every time I go up there, I'm probably archaic, I'm probably the only one that drops the bills off up there anymore. I ask them, what about the drop-off box? Well, you have to see Borough Munhall. That's what I'm doing, seeing Borough Munhall.
To be honest with you, I didn't even know that we had a legal tax service drop-off box.
The old Borough Building had one, right there by the tax.
The old Borough Building.
The old
Where do
Borough
you put it? Outside?
Pardon me?
Where do you put it?
No, it's in the
Right in the
I
lobby.
guess it was, no, he said it used to be.
Oh,
It used to be the old Borough Building, right across from the tax collector's office.
okay.
No, we don't have one in the
No,
new.
we don't have one in the new
We don't
building.
have any, when I go up to the tax, when I pay my bills up at the, legal tax up on, Bethel Road there, you know, they said, see, Borough Munhall. I said, okay. But you guys have one for the, tax collectors.
I mean, if we would bring that one from the old bar building, I mean, but then again, who's gonna pick it up? Do they
They
even,
will.
they,
I don't know how it works.
Yeah, Matt
You know how it works? I
Matt
mean-
from Legal Tax used to come once a week or twice a week and, you know,
Okay.
get it out.
Yeah.
so we would literally
We
have
didn't
to
know it wasn't
contact,
here.
if we would bring it over here, we would have to contact them and say, hey, come and get it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, see if he wants it back in here, you know,
Yeah.
just check with him, that's all.
Yeah, we could do that.
Kevin, just like
I think it's up to
the
us.
sewer authority has a box downstairs, and
Sure,
so does the
sure.
Majority. So we can put that one down there from legal tax.
Very good, thanks for letting us know.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Very good.
Cool.
Okay.
Additional, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, but anyways, I was just thinking, this is probably for our police department. Is there any thought, I go through different boroughs and municipalities, on their stop signs, they have reflective strips on the metal part of the sign. I didn't know because, you know, people don't really stop at our stop signs much anymore. And that, I mean, you could see those reflective strips in the daytime and nighttime as well. I didn't know if that could be a possibility. I don't know what the costs associated with
I
it.
can look into it, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'll look into it for next meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, you know what'll happen? Now we'll see the stop sign we're gonna go through.
Yeah.
I agree. There's no way through it. I watched my side of my house. It's just a go through stop sign.
That's outside in front of my house.
This is for President Brennan. I made a call to a gentleman who's a paving contractor, and I was asking him what speed humps would run just because I wanted to know. He started to go off on me and said, who's it for? I said, Munhall. He said, I will never do nothing for Munhall ever again, because he made an agreement with Mr. Brennan.
No, we didn't.
So you know what I'm talking about. This is what he told me. He said that you told him you had the votes.
Alright, bullshit.
And it was, excuse me, can I finish? Can I finish? He told me that you had the votes and they were gonna pave Diamond alleyway behind Green's Funeral Home. And it was gonna be split over 2 years of paying it, 10,000 this year, 10,000 next year.
Not true.
Well, why would this gentleman lie?
Well, he didn't lie. Because I never said that.
Well, he was upset because he lost a paving job that he didn't even have because we never put it out to bid.
So don't call me a liar.
I'm not calling you a liar, but you're calling him a liar.
You talk to Mr. Other people involved. You want to bring it up on the public floor? I'll bring it up on public floor.
Bring it up on the public floor. I'm talking about transparency.
Well, good. So our public works department went to him and asked him about doing this. And
Okay, you told him you had the votes, is what he said. And it was gonna be $20,000, and I'm sure it was more than $20,000 because we've probably given him 2 pieces of equipment that he's gonna buy.
I gave the paperwork to Mr. Little after this all transpired, and I didn't have the paperwork. It was brought to him by public works people, not me. So don't give me a
He said he spoke to you himself. And he was mad because he lost the contract for that, and he didn't understand why you would take a contract away from him when you were doing a big job out there in Caruso's for them.
I didn't take a contract away from him. I had nothing to do with it.
I'm just saying transparency, it looks a little crazy.
Well, you're making it look crazy, and don't make me look crazy.
I'm not.
I had nothing to do with it.
The man brought it to my attention. I had
I'm
nothing
bringing it to your attention right now, son, sir. I had
Excuse me?
nothing to do with it.
You ain't my dad, don't ever call me son again.
Employees talked to him, they made the contract up, they worked it out, and then they gave it to someone else, and he got mad about it. Not me, I had nothing to do with it.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
I was just gonna bring that up. Okay,
So don't throw me under the bridge.
I'm just telling you what I was told.
Well, you could do that in a different way too, you know.
Hey, I'm not trying to hide things, I'm
I'll
transparent.
throw people under the bridge as well then, if you wanna play that game. But that's wrong, and that's bullshit.
okay, I'd like to make, I'm asking for a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion.
Motion in the meantime, Mr. Voter D is having surgery tomorrow. I'd like to wish him luck.
Good luck.
Tomorrow morning.
Good luck, Rich. Rainey, I'm sorry, Rich. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you all for coming tonight.